See, when you talk about piece books, you have to understand that they are scrapbooks of progression, meaning that just as a girl might keep a scrapbook of family photos, a graffiti artist keeps a piece book that marks his progression as his own skills grow. Mind you though, this is all fun. I don't think any writers take themselves too seriously, and that's one of the hallmarks that graffiti artists share over many traditional artists. I mean that you hear some artists, traditional artists that is, that damn near kill themselves over their own disappointment in their skills. This is not the same with graffiti writers, although I'm speaking only for myself here, Designer markers, Sharpies, pencils, colored pencils, and spray paint all mark up a writer's book. They like to keep tags from those who have previously viewed their work. So it's a tradition to pass around each other's piece books and tag them up some, to give some wear and tear to the thing, so that people know that it's been around the block a few times. I once lost a piece book in 1989, and then 6 years later, I met a writer I didn't even know who had it on the north side, to which he later gave it back to me. That was a little funny, and that was pretty extreme traveling for a piece book. But what the hell, that was a particularly odd book, because that book actually had a spray paint can cut in half and glued to the cover. So in a way, that book was highly sought after for some strange reason. In my piece books, there's no real censorship. I mean, I just draw whatever comes to my mind. A lot of times it'll be B-girls or B-boys, and I do a lot of characters. But when you look at them, a lot of people might be surprised because you'll see a lot of letters, a lot of styles. Because really, where I do my styles and letters are in the piece books, especially when it comes to layering wild styles and different kind of things that Salsky used to do and Rowski and Menace, different types of techniques that we used to practice when we were younger, like during the 1980s. And when you look at a piece book, it's kind of like a time machine, because you see that backwards progression of skills and fads. So you might see some piece that was done in the 1980s that has a Puma or Adidas logo, and then later on, you'll see as the 90s pop up, you'll see these Nike logos or what have you, because they kind of mark the era that they're in. So whatever's particularly popular within that episode of time, writers are capturing that in their piece book. So it's kind of like a time capsule for graffiti writers as well. There's another aspect of piece books that I really like, and one of them that's fascinated me a lot is the way that piece books are actually faceted, because they're very much like a diary consisting of art. And graffiti artists use this art in their tagging to exemplify the way they view themselves in the world. So if a parent was spying on their teenage kid's diary, they'd learn a bunch of stuff that the kid probably didn't want the parent to know. And a piece book is a lot like that, because despite the fact that it's filled with art, there's all kind of hidden messages and symbols and graffiti tags and symbolize acronyms for crews and a bunch of stuff that parents would probably be a little bit appalled about. But the thing is that it's a personal forum for that individual's freedom. It's actually a tangible tone to where an artist can express himself. And that's very important, especially in this modern age where a lot of youth are very oppressed. So that said, you can see that there's some really practical applications for piece books, because they're not only just a practicing ground for writers who are banking on putting those images on the wall, but they're really very strong and very evident places of affection and artistic ideology. And I'm saying this because it's not written or drawn without feeling. And every graffiti artist that writes and draws within those books, maybe they're listening to music on the headphones or, talking to one of their friends, they're being influenced probably at the same time they're drawing and it marks that particular space and time, giving it a sense of feeling. So when you're looking at these books, you're not only looking at just some plain kind of stagnant imagery or some kind of commercial hogwash. You're looking at the influence of the environment and of the influence of the personal artist himself that he or she placed inside that book. So think about it. That's very, very unique.